So, Michael, please explain to our audience and those who are not proficient and do not understand the inner workings of basketball, why is Carmelo Anthony not only not elite, but what makes him a borderline bad player?
Like, all right, first things first. I'm going to try to make this argument as basic as possible. Anybody at any level of basketball can understand this. You go to the Y. You're playing basketball. You got a guy on your team with a half-decent jump shot.
Mm-hmm.
But he gets the ball, all he does is shoot. Is it any fun to play with him?
Definitely not.
Okay, great. So we got that out. It's not fun to play with a guy like that. So if you're not having fun, I'm not playing defense, I'm not changing ends. Everything feels like a labor from his teammate standpoint. I don't know where I'm supposed to be. I don't know if I should cut or stay here and give you space because you want to ISO and drive. I just put a stand around and watch. And then you just made it harder for yourself because the hardest pass to throw, all the defense is like, okay, well, to stop him, he doesn't want to pass. You're stuck. But now you're stuck trying to throw a pass to a man standing still.
Mm-hmm.
That's the hardest pass to throw because the defender knows where the ball is going. So you just made your whole situation way worse.
Mm-hmm.
And then, on top of that, you're not even the type of guy who gives 100% effort defensively every night. And most years, unless it's an Olympic year, so you had to play all summer, you're not coming into the season in shape.
Right.
I mean, you put all those things together, and what you really have is a guy who makes teams worse.
So people would
point. Don't get me wrong. If we're standing around shooting jump shots, he's one of the best. If you take the top 5 to 10 players in the NBA and Carmelo, make sure I say add Carmelo because he's not included in the top 5 to 10 players. So if you take all of those guys and Carmelo and have a one-on-one tournament play and make it take it, Carmelo might win. So I'm not saying he can't dribble, shoot, strong, big body, all that. Great. But it's a 5-on-5 game. And until he actually accepts that he has to play with his teammates, he's just going to make teams worse.
Right. So I'm going to jump in because you said something key at the end. You said until he accepts the otherwise. I mean, Carmelo Anthony is 31 years old, going on 32. He's on the back nine of his career, to use a golf metaphor. So he's not a developing player. I mean, he's not going to come into camp in peak physical shape. He's not going to change his role to where he becomes a slasher or someone that plays off the ball. He's always been an individual who is an excellent scorer. I mean, he's an A to A+ scorer, but he's a D+ to C- in pretty much everything else. He doesn't really rebound that well. I mean, granted, he's 6'9", so he's going to get some rebounds just because he plays on the block, but he's not an exceptional rebounder. He's a horrible defender. He's been a horrible defender his entire career. He's not a good leader. You've seen what he's accomplished in Denver. You've seen the debacle that the Knicks have become. He's not a good leader. He does not help other teammates to grow and get better. And he does not have what to me is most important of all of that. You and I have disagreed on Allen Iverson, and I don't want to go off on that tangent. But the difference between him and AI, in my opinion, AI played with heart. AI wanted to win. AI was crazy. He was psycho. He was selfish. Yeah.
Oh, make no doubts about it. I'd absolutely rather have AI any day of the week.
Right.
To
me, Carmelo is the guy, and we've all played with this guy over the years. He's the guy that you played on the team and you lost by 15, 20 points, that runs over and looks at the score table and the stat sheet to see if he got his 30. And if he got his 30, he's generally happy. He's just never shown the ability or concern to win it. I just find it funny that so many people boost Carmelo Anthony. So many people say that he's an elite NBA player. So many people say, man, I wish that we had a Carmelo Anthony. I would never want someone like that on my team to play with or coach or to
Carmelo,
be on a team that I follow.
Carmelo Anthony is a highlight show's dream. He'll give you all the ISO moves, the face-up, jab step, fadeaways, baselines, drop steps, a quick crossover, all that good stuff. All the highlight shows love to see.
Mm-hmm.
And he's athletic enough, explosive enough where he can dunk on somebody when he's motivated. He's a highlight show's dream. But if you're actually talking about basketball, a full game of 5-on-5, he's not the guy you want on your team.
Right.
So when you're watching the highlight show, you're the kid in school who just sees, oh, look who's on the highlight. You see what SportsCenter showed? Especially all those years when he was out west and his games were late at night, so all you saw was the highlight reel.
Mm-hmm.
Since he's been with the Knicks, people are starting to get on to him a little bit more slowly but surely. You're hearing that elite talk come less and less frequently. But it took a while. Being on the West Coast helped him. He had the late-night game, and most of the country couldn't see more than the highlight tape, which is going to look amazing. Because if I take 40 shots, you're going to get 10 highlight plays.
He was a benefactor of the East Coast bias, where we didn't get to see him stinking it up all of those years in Denver. I agree.
Exactly. I mean, there were some people who called him a bum years ago. But, the world is catching up now.
So kind of, what would you say, Michael, as far as, because not only Carmelo, kind of segueing away from him as we kind of wrap up this particular segment, what are the concepts? You're an X and O guy. That's one of your primary roles on this particular program, is to be the X and O guy, X's and O's guy.
Mm-hmm.
What are the concepts, the fundamental concepts of basketball? Explain to our audience what the triangle is, is versus what a typical 1-4 offense where the guard plays at the top of the key and it's kind of a ball stop offense. Explain the difference and why a player like Carmelo does not fit the triangle.
Well, a player like Carmelo doesn't fit the 1-4 either. He doesn't fit team basketball because he doesn't like to pass. But that being said, the typical 1-4, you've got a point guard at the top of the key who's going to do a lot of pick and roll or penetrate and dish where they do the primary ball handling and draw the attention, make plays for the rest of their teammates. The 1-4, the 1 is the point guard. You got the 4 people moving off the ball, try to find openings and open shots, maybe setting picks for each other, creating space away from the ball, but one primary ball handler. In the triangle offense, there really is no need for a point guard.
Right.
Whoever brings the ball up court starts the offense, because unless you're wide open, and I mean wide open, they're daring you to shoot or giving you a layup, you do not take the first shot. You make the first pass and you're in your offense, because it's all about angles. You'll typically have a high post playing somewhere around one of the free throw line extended, somebody opposite block baseline, and on the opposite baseline, a mid-range player that'll give you a triangle. As the ball moves, without getting too intricate here, as the ball moves, those triangles shift as those 3 base players move in and out of the triangle. Some occasionally pop to the perimeter, someone on the perimeter popping into the third triangle spot. And it's a lot of movement, player movement off the ball and ball movement, not a lot of isolation. You create an open shot for your teammate. Somebody catches the ball, they shoot. If you're open, if you're not open, you pass. You won't see the ball hitting the floor a lot isolation dribble unless the shot clock is down at, say, maybe 7 or lower.
So wow, that was a pretty, you actually impressed me there. That was a really good explanation. Sometimes I forget how smart you are, some of the reckless things that you say on this show. Kind of the last comment here, we got another minute and a half or so. What are some of the potential trade destinations for Carmelo Anthony? I mean, he flirted with signing in Chicago, which I actually think would have been a good place for him because they play defense. That's the one team in the NBA that they just needed someone to come in and take 20 shots a game. Where are some of the places that you could see Carmelo Anthony ending up?
Well, first of all, if he went to Chicago, I have to ask, do you really think Carmelo Anthony and Derrick Rose could play together? Not that Derrick Rose ever actually plays to begin with, but D. Rose isn't a true point guard. He's an attack player himself. There's not won't be many touches for anybody at that point. But if someone were to legitimately have interest in trading for Carmelo Anthony, the one situation where I see that being realistic is if I'm in a bad team in a bad market that doesn't attract free agents, and I'm not really thinking about winning right now. I'm just trying to sell tickets. So, that being said, an aging team like a Dallas that's going to have to rebuild soon could work for them. And Orlando, that's a long way away from winning. Maybe somebody like that. Milwaukee, I actually see them trying to improve. Same with Minnesota. So if I'm either of those teams, I don't want them.
Right.
Maybe a Detroit.
So that's if you're sending him to purgatory. You're sending him to basketball purgatory.
Yeah. No team that really wants to win is going to be trying to trade for Carmelo Anthony right now. If you're a winning team, you're trying to put together a good foundation. Why do you want Carmelo Anthony?
Well, you can hear excellent analysis and energy from Michael Jones when he debuts One-on-One with MJ, coming soon on Advent Sports Network. You're listening to the Lance J Radio Show, and we'll be back after a couple of words from our sponsors.
You're on the ticket with Advent Sports Network, home of Falcon Pride, One-on-One with MJ, and the Lance J Radio Show.
As far as the jumping ability, heredity, man. There's nothing I did, to be honest with you. I didn't realize that I had this incredible jumping ability until people started making a big deal out of it, and I was able to do things that other people couldn't. We always used to laugh about that because we would go play different places in D.C., and no one knew how I could jump. So we used to either do a fast break, they throw me an alley-oop, or I would just take off from almost a foul line. Right. They was like, hold up, where this come from? No, because in every game, I would get somebody. Like, I think the biggest that got dunked on was like 7'4". You know, we scrimmaged Navy one time. I dunked on a guy, he was 7'2". And just because they think they will play me like a poop butt, and I would just keep going, man, because they wouldn't expect it. You know, they think, I got this cat. They going up halfway, man. Bringing the pain, brother.
The Lance J Radio Show is taped at Advent Sports Network Studios, located in beautiful Emerald City of Seattle, Washington.
Hello, I am Dr. Arlene Archer, otherwise known as The Life Doctor, and you are listening to the Lance J Radio Show on Advent Sports Network. Between juggling my professional responsibilities as a clinical psychologist and independent business owner, and my personal interests as a wife and mother, I make the time to fulfill my passion of helping others through inspirational videos. Join me on my YouTube channel as The Life Doctor, where I vlog on home life, education, health, fitness, and more.
Listening to the Lance J Radio Show on Advent Sports Network.